did to be different. I did to be different. I did to be different. I did. I did. I did to be different. To be different. I did to be different.
I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day. Yes, it is. And I have an author on the show. Oh my gosh. I am so very excited to have him on the show. It is his first interview. And so we have to be like really cool to him. So I want you to comment below. Go check out the links in the description box so that we can give him a warm welcome to Dream Chasers Radio. I want to welcome Mr. Godwin to the show. And I know I said that right.
Yes, you did.
Awesome. So tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, I was a double major in college, biology and English. And I pursued the biology for 25 years. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry as a medical writer. I combined my writing skills with my science skills. But now I'm retired from that, and now I just write. I'm finally unleashing my literary ambitions, and so I have 5 books on the market so far. And I was a graduate student at St. John's College in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I had the best time in my life out there. I love the West, and that's why my first book was about the West. I met an Indian there who had served in Vietnam, and he told me his life story. And that's where Chasing Quetzalcoatl to the American Dream came from.
Wow.
So that's where it originated. I've been holding that in my belly for 30 years.
Goodness.
And before I was able to write it. But,
so wait, we got to go back. What is Quetzalcoatl? What is that?
It's the Aztec god of the Aztecs. It's the god of the Aztecs.
Oh, so why did you name it Quetzalcoatl?
Because that's one of the main characters, guardian angel. It's Quetzalcoatl, named Quetzalcoatl, and so it's chasing Quetzalcoatl, or guardian angel, to the American dream.
Wow! And so this relationship that you had with the Indian, this was special to you.
Absolutely, he was an old guy, and I knew he wasn't going to live forever, and he just told one of my days off, I just sat down with him at a bar, and we just went through his whole life story, and it was fascinating. He told me all about the West of the 19th century, Wakova, and the ghost dance, and how his people suffered. And I had to get the story out, but it took me 30 years before I had the energy to write it.
Yeah, I hear you. Being in biology. And then in the medical field, this was something that took up most of your time.
It did. It was hard work, It kept me really busy.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved every minute of it because I know I was bettering society.
Yeah.
By being a researcher in the pharmaceutical industry. But I knew that when I retired, all I wanted to do was write. So I'm on book number 6 right now.
My gosh.
I'm writing a book about Pittsburgh right now.
Okay.
The transformation of the city from a steel mill town, to a high-tech, computer-savvy, cosmopolitan city. I went, as an undergrad, I went there in the early 70s when the sky was full of smoke and red glow from the steel mills. And then I went and got my MBA there in the 90s. And the transformation was remarkable. And I just said, I have to write a book about this. So this is a nonfiction book.
Wow. Are all your books nonfiction?
No, I have 1 nonfiction, and the other 4 are fiction.
Okay. Why have the diversity?
Well, I think it's good if you can write both. Some people can't write both fiction and nonfiction, but I think I have the skill to do both. And so I wanted to mix it up. And that's what I've done. I've only had 1 nonfiction so far, but plus traditionally nonfiction sells better than fiction. So that's the other reason.
Awesome. So you have the first book the gentleman, I mean, obviously he's probably not with us today, but I
Right.
mean, he has made a long lasting mark on your life to say that he really is in spirit with you today.
Yeah.
Those stories that he told you, and then you writing the book about it, were they still living in your mind so vividly when you wrote it
Absolutely.
from the
Yeah,
early days,
it was
40
like a
years?
dream when I
Wow.
was out there. The West came alive for me because of him. And we traveled all over the West and Santa Fe and the San Juan Mountains, and he showed me his house and everything. And we explored the Four Corners, and I just had a wonderful time with him.
That's wonderful. It is wonderful to get with other people of different cultures and find out what's going on with them. Did you feel what he felt when you wrote it?
I did because the reason I went there, my mother's a Navajo.
Mm,
So as she started an Indian jewelry business in Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
and she got all her jewelry from the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. And
Okay.
I said, well, I want to know New Mexico too, so that's why I applied to St. John's College and went out there because I had explored the West with my mother too, and
Right.
we got to go to ceremonies that most white people don't get to go to, and the whole culture opened up to me,
Mhm.
and I feel that's part of my strength is knowing two cultures.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And
So
I
my
feel,
main character is half Indian, half white.
wow.
So
Is that you? Is that kind of related
well,
to
in a way, it
who you
is
are?
because that
Uh-huh.
is me. My mother was a Navajo.
Mm. That is so cool. I know how you feel because there's a lot of whites that are mixed. And then there's like my culture, blacks that are mixed as well. I have Irish, I have a lot of different things in my
Right.
family because of the circumstances.
Right.
But we can't deny any part of our heritage,
That's
nor
right.
can we deny, like if we did that, we would be denying virtually ourselves. It just doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
That's right.
And circumstances, yeah, they were really bad. And you wrote a book about it, and it's good to get that out there. People are misunderstanding each other today. I think the complexities of the diversities and the conflicts are the misunderstanding of each other. I think that when we do this is better for us. And so you do have a second book out as well.
I have the second book we want to talk about is it takes place in New York City, which I spent
Mm,
some time in. It's about looking through the dark. It's a passage from the Bible. You see through a glass darkly, but
mhm,
we will come out the other side and see clearly
mhm.
when there's a spiritual transformation in the country. And I think that spiritual transformation is happening now.
Oh my gosh, something's happening. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So that's why I wrote a book about that. It's Through the
Mm.
Dark Looking Glass, which is right out of, I can't remember, it's Corinthians 1:19, I think, something like that.
Wow. Wow. So how did this book come out of you? Did it come out of you at the same time as the other one, or is it
No, I
different
wrote it a
time?
few years later. I got a kind of jaded experience. I guess you're based in New York, aren't you?
No, I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I could only handle New York for about a year, and I had to get out. I couldn't take it because I'm a country boy. But I
New
learned a
York is,
lot.
yeah. New
I
York is
learned a lot. I
fast.
know I learned, and now I live in the country and I'm happy, and I thank God I didn't have to spend my life there.
Yeah. Yeah. I moved away from New York a long time ago to Florida. It's
Uh,
really not as slow as the country, but it is a lot slower than New York City.
right. Right.
Definitely, definitely. So let me ask you a question. From
Yeah.
the book, the first one that we talked about, and I can't even pronounce that name. I'm not gonna do it because I'm
All
really
right.
bad. But from the first book until the second book, what kind of growth did you have, physically and psychologically speaking, to write this second book?
Well, I definitely got a few years more under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I've expanded my waistline a little bit, lost a few more hairs on my head. And but I think I wanted to write my experience of what it's like coming out of the dark ages.
Mm,
And there's a lot of parallels, I think, between living under Trump and what I wrote about Through the Dark Looking Glass, because I feel that was a dark period of American history. And there's a lot of parallels between the main bad guy in Through the Dark Looking and Trump. And
Okay.
so now we're through that, and now we're coming back out of it. It's going to take a long time because a lot of damage was done.
Yes.
But
It is.
we are on the right path now, I think. And so we're through the dark looking glass.
Wow. There's just so many different things and so many different parallels that we can put into this. But ultimately speaking, what your two books? Okay, so let's go back to the first one. What do you want people to get from that book and to learn from that book?
Well, hopefully you'll learn about a different culture. And my age, I was in the Vietnam era. I went to college during Vietnam. So that war still, I think, has a lot of unexplained things about it. And I think this book tries to explain some things about it that, that have never been explained because it was such a weird war. And I came of age during that time. So so it's a combination of learning a different culture and talking about Z-Leaf, the character, and also what it was like for the soldiers coming home from Vietnam, trying to find what the real world was like.
Right. Wow. And then the second book?
The second book is, like I said, it has to do with the weird laws that got passed, like the Patriot Act, the Military Commissions Act, all these that cramp down on your freedoms, and the Radicalization Act of 2007. All these laws tend to make us a Gestapo state. And we don't live in a democracy. We live in we were living in an autocracy when Trump was in charge. And so we've got to come out of that and realize America was based on freedom.
Yeah. Wow. These are very big, pivotal books.
I think so. I wish the public would see it that way.
Oh yeah. I think so. I think that they will, especially now, explaining things. I think, when we have these shows and we explain what the book's about, it really hits the person that really wants to find out more about it, especially from someone who's gone through it and lived as long as you have so far, and you have so many more years to live, that, we need to understand the differences between here and there.
Right.
And because that's going to really help us not to repeat the past.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it right on the head.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it so much.
What else I would like to say is that I have a book that is basically a sequel to George Orwell's Down and Out in Paris and London. It's a sequel based in American. It's an Americanized version of that called Down and Out in Philadelphia, New York. And it's my coming of age story. This is the nonfiction of growing up poor, being a scholar in Philadelphia, New York, being poor, trying to survive. And it's basically, it updates the dialogue from Orwell,
right,
to the American scene.
Wow.
So that was my third book.
Oh, it's out already?
It's already out. Yeah.
Sweet. And where can we find your books?
Well, they're on Amazon. But I think I'm going to get picked up by Macmillan.
Ooh, congratulations.
Which is why, I will get an audience.
Yes.
One of the big five. And I'm really excited about it because this is the first time I finally feel like a successful author. So soon it'll be out from Macmillan.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
It's well deserved. I mean, you've put in your time. You've helped so many millions of people with the medications and you've studied, and now you can begin to do you.
Right. Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. I want to thank you so much for being on the show, Mr.
Well, it's
Godwin.
been my pleasure.
No problem. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, we're going to have that information about his books in the description box below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to his stuff and to his Amazon channel, because he does have one. I'm going to have that link too. And I am so thankful that you guys are here. Please don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time that I upload. And don't forget to dare to be different. Until next time, guys.
I dare to be different. I dare